When people speak of living the way, most imagine a life of withdrawal, leaving behind work, people, and the noise of cities. They picture someone disappearing into the mountains, dwelling in a small hut, cut off from ambition, desire, and love. They believe that only in absolute silence can the way reveal itself. But if the way can exist only in silence, then that way is far too fragile to walk through the marketplace of life. A truly awakened person does not leave the world. They understand it. They do not search for isolation, for even in the heart of chaos, they remain at peace. The way is not in temples, it is not on the mountaintop, it is not hidden in rituals or sacred chants. The way lives in this very moment, as you listen, as you breathe, as you live. We live now in a digital world, social media, news, deadlines, endless distractions. Everything moves so fast that without an inner anchor, we are easily pulled into the storm of doing and forget the one who is doing. Living the way in the world is not escaping the flow of life. It is learning how not to be swept away. The way does not need effort. It only asks for seeing. See the mind reacting. See the fear rising. See the anger forming. And in that very seeing, suffering begins to dissolve. Someone once asked, "Master, in the noise of the city, how can I hold on to the way?" I said, "Do not hold it. Live it." Holding means fear of losing. Living means letting it soak into everything. Holding the way makes the mind tense. Living the way makes the heart soft. When the mind is clear, every act of life becomes the way. When you cook a meal for your family, do not think it small. In the sound of chopping, in the bubbling of water, there can be the sound of awakening. When you sit at your desk and exhale slowly, letting tension fade like morning mist, that too is meditation. When you listen to someone in pain, without interrupting, without judgment, just silently present, that is the way breathing through you. A modern meditator may be a software engineer, sitting before a screen for hours, yet in each line of code, he observes his own mind, seeing where it strains, compares, or rests. A busy mother may be a bodhisattva in disguise. She cleans the house, cares for her children, and through each act she knows what she is doing, not for praise, not for recognition, but because love itself is living through her. A driver waiting at a red light, if he relaxes his shoulders and feels his breath, even that brief moment is a glimpse of freedom. The way does not require time or place. It only requires a mind that is truly present. As long as you are trying to live the way, you have not yet lived it, because the one who tries is still the ego seeking more value for itself. Only when you stop trying and pure presence remains, the way reveals itself, naturally, quietly, without name. The true practitioner has no goal to achieve. They simply see each moment clearly, and in that clarity the way is already breathing through them. So do not strive to become a monk. Just become fully alive. Do not force peace. Simply see who is restless. Do not try to leave the world, for this very world is the greatest classroom of the mind. One day you will realize it is not you who lives the way in the world. It is the way that lives through you. Soft pause, sound of deep breath, distant bell chime. When you stop searching, the way stops hiding. When you simply live, the way lives completely. We often believe mindfulness means sitting still, closing our eyes, and not being disturbed. But in truth, mindfulness needs no special seat. It can happen the moment you open the door to the street, when you make a cup of coffee, or scroll through the morning news on your phone. There is no moment that cannot become meditation. We simply fail to be present in the very moment we are living. Our mind drifts into memory, runs toward what has not yet come, and forgets the only thing that truly exists, this present moment. Mindfulness doesn't ask you to leave the world. It only invites you to be fully alive within it. Imagine this, a quiet morning. You stand before the sink. Cool water touches your skin. Soft light pours through the window. Birds outside call to one another. Normally you wouldn't notice. Your mind would already be thinking about emails, messages, and the 9 a.m. meeting. But if just for a single heartbeat, you pause and feel it all, in that instant you are living the way. Not a way high above the world, but one that touches your skin, your breath, your very cells. Some believe mindfulness is strict, tense, a matter of control. No. Mindfulness is not about forcing yourself to know every single thing that happens. It is a gentle presence, knowing what is happening without becoming it. When anger arises, know that anger is here. When sadness comes, know that sadness is visiting. Do not judge. Do not run away. Stand by the river of emotions and watch them pass without jumping in. We live in an age of notifications and constant sound. Phones ring, emails arrive, social feeds stream like an endless river. The unmindful are carried away by each sound, each word, each emotion. But the mindful, they live in the same flow, and yet they do not drift. They know when to respond and when to remain silent. They know how to pause before reacting. A mindful person might be working in an office, yet their breathing is soft as petals. Every keystroke, every glance through the window is meditation, is dharma. Mindfulness is a way of loving life, not through excitement, but through full presence. A mother preparing a meal, if truly present in each motion, is performing a sacred ritual. No chant is needed, for every breath in her cooking is already a prayer for life itself. A street sweeper, if working with a clear heart, is sweeping away not just dust, but ignorance. A doctor, a teacher, a driver, anyone can be a practitioner if their work is done with awareness. Mindfulness requires no special condition, no long meditation sessions, no perfect silence. It only asks for presence. If you are eating, know you are eating. If you are walking, know your feet touching the ground. If you are speaking, hear your own words. That's all. And yet in that, just that, the whole way opens. Because when you are fully present, life is no longer an obstacle. It becomes the path itself. Honesty, a word everyone claims to understand, yet so few dare to live completely. Since childhood, we're told to be honest, but society rewards those who can adjust. People hide their true feelings, say what's pleasant, and wear moral masks to be accepted. Until one day, behind those layers of disguise, we lose the face that was truly ours. Those who live the way in the world cannot pretend, not because they fear being exposed, but because they have lost the capacity to lie. When the mind is clear, even the smallest deception feels heavy, like a stone in the heart. To live honestly is to live in harmony with inner truth, and integrity means standing by it, even when you must stand alone. A truthful person is never loud. They don't declare, "I live honestly." Their very presence is proof enough. When they speak, their words carry weight because they rise from a place untouched by desire. When they are silent, their silence still speaks, for it holds the vibration of authenticity. In a world full of images, a truthful being is as rare as a spring hidden within rock. The person of integrity never bargains with wrong, even when wrong appears profitable. They do not bend their conscience just to please others. Each time one twists morality, the heart breaks a little more. Integrity is not rigidity. It is flexibility born of wisdom. They adapt in action, but never betray what they know to be right. In today's world, where personal images are polished by a few taps and small lies are branded as strategy, to live honestly is a silent revolution. No slogans are needed, only the courage not to pretend. A leader who dares to admit mistakes before the team is already practicing the way. An employee who refuses to act against conscience is already walking the path. A child who confesses their wrongs to their parents is already freeing their karma. The way is not distant. It appears each time you dare to be true to yourself. It's easier to be honest with others than to be honest with yourself. Yet that is where all transformation begins. When you see yourself trying to decorate your image, pretending to be strong, trying to appear awakened, stop. Look directly at the act of pretending, without judgment. In the very moment you see it clearly, the wall between you and truth begins to crack. The one who lives the way is not afraid of being wrong, nor of being misunderstood, nor of losing their image. They know truth does not need belief to be true. It shines by itself, and the more the wind blows, the brighter the flame becomes. A truthful person does not try to be humble. They simply have no reason to appear big. They do not crave praise nor fear criticism. They can do great work without needing to be remembered, speak profound words without signing their name. They are like wind passing through a garden, carrying fragrance then disappearing. Integrity brings a strange freedom. When you no longer need to perform, all your energy returns to real life. You stop guarding your image because the mask has already fallen. You simply live, breathe, and know that your heart is clean. Those who live the way do not talk about it. They are it. Not through theory, but through each honest act, each word untainted by deceit. When someone lives this way, their mere presence brings peace. They don't preach, yet anyone near them feels illuminated. Honesty is not a virtue, it is the foundation of awakening. When you stop lying to yourself, truth begins to speak on its own. Someone once asked, "Master, what does non-self truly mean? If there is no me, then who is living, who is practicing?" I said, it is not that there is no one, but that there is no longer someone trying to be someone. Non-self does not mean losing yourself. It means the absence of the one who is always trying to prove itself. That I, that endless craving to be remembered, admired, justified, is the heaviest burden a human carries. And when it fades, life becomes as light as breath. Do not try to destroy the ego. Every effort to destroy it only hides it deeper, disguised as the humble one. Some people say, "I am nothing," but within those words lurks a subtle pride. I am different from others. I am more modest than they are. Non-self is not rejecting your existence. It is the freedom from being trapped in the image you believe to be you. The ego is an artist of disguise. It can wear the robes of the moral, the enlightened, the compassionate. It can whisper under a gentle smile, "Look how good you are, how pure your actions are." Yet when you dare to look at it directly without fear, its power vanishes. For the ego survives only in the darkness of unawareness. When light shines upon it, it melts like mist in the morning sun. Today the world glorifies the self as never before. We have profiles, followers, likes, digital fame. We no longer live, we perform life. We no longer share, we prove that we are happy. Yet behind the glow of the screen, that fragile self still trembles, for it lives by the gaze of others. Non-self is when you no longer need an audience, when happiness no longer depends on being seen, but on knowing you are truly alive. Humility is not about trying to be small. It is the natural state of one who has stopped trying to be large. A truly humble person does not act humble. They neither hide nor boast. They simply have no reason to be above anyone. They can bow to someone younger, thank a person who points out their mistake, smile when criticized, and apologize without shame. That is the transparent beauty of the egoless heart. A person who lives the way may still work, lead, teach, but within them there is no idea of "I am the one doing." They simply see what needs to be done and allow it to unfold through them. Then every act becomes service, every breath becomes a ritual. Like a river that flows, never proud of watering the fields. It simply flows, because that is the nature of water. One who lives in non-self moves the same way, natural, quiet, yet full of life. When the self dissolves, love does not need to be practiced, it flows by itself. Not the love that gives from above, but the love born from oneness. For when there is no me in you, there is only life touching life. Non-self does not make you weak. It makes you soft enough that nothing can break you. Like water, taking every shape, yet losing none of its essence. Humility does not make you small. It helps you see the beauty in everyone. No one becomes non-self. Only the self fades away when clearly seen. And when there is no one left to prove anything, the human being becomes transparent as the sky, where the way itself breathes through every wind. Someone once asked, Master, if the self no longer exists, who will serve others? If there is no desire, who will act? I said, it is precisely when no one remains to act that action becomes pure. Selfless action does not mean doing nothing. It means doing completely, without carrying intention. Like a flower that blooms for no one, like rain that falls for no reason, like the sun that shines without needing to be thanked. That is the spirit of egoless service. Service is not helping others. It is realizing there are no others. When you see someone in pain and your heart trembles, that is not the charity of a noble person, but the natural resonance of shared life. You act, not because you are kind, but because it feels true. You give, not to be remembered, but because you cannot do otherwise. A selfless person never asks, what will I gain from this? They only ask, is this act born of love? When the motive is clear, the result no longer matters. Success or failure, gain or loss, they are only small ripples on a still lake. In today's world of efficiency and performance, everything is measured by numbers, feedback, and likes. We work not only to live, but to prove that we have worth. Yet there is another kind of action born of inner freedom. A nurse caring for patients through the night, not for praise, but because her presence itself feels right. A software engineer quietly fixing a system, unseen, so millions can work in peace. A young man helping an elder cross the street, then walking on, without turning back, without waiting for gratitude. This is the breath of selfless service in the modern world. When service becomes a strategy for goodness, it is no longer service. When we help others to feel virtuous, our goodness is still stained by ego. When we share to be acknowledged, our compassion becomes a silent bargain. True service does not arise from duty, but from understanding and love. There is no sense of I am doing something good because there is no longer an I. Desireless action is full of energy, yet free from bondage to outcome. The selfless person acts wholeheartedly, but their mind is like a mirror, reflecting, not clinging. They plant a seed, then walk away. If it sprouts, they rejoice. If not, they smile. They understand, a seed that doesn't sprout today may bloom in another season, in another life. Service is meditation in motion. When you help another, you step out of the orbit of ego. In that moment, there is no me and them, only the current of life healing itself. The true servant does not wait for the world to change. They become part of that change. They don't shout love, they act it. An ancient master once said, the enlightened one leaves no footprints, yet wherever they pass, the grass grows greener. Selfless service is that walk. No signature, no credit, but everything they touch becomes lighter, brighter. When the self is silent, every act becomes a prayer. Every step becomes a blessing. When we stop wanting to save others, compassion finally arises. When we stop trying to prove, service becomes the breath of life itself. And within those quiet, nameless acts, the way walks through human hands. There is a truth everyone must eventually learn, and often through pain. Life does not unfold according to our plans. We want the one we love to stay, they leave. We want our work to succeed, it collapses. We long for peace, and the storm arrives. And each time it happens, we resist. We struggle, we suffer more. Not because life is cruel, but because we refuse to let go. Acceptance is not surrendering. It is seeing clearly what is, and ceasing to fight it. When you stop struggling against reality, you are no longer its victim. You become its witness. A wise person does not ask, why me? They ask, what can I learn from this? And in that question, the storm begins to calm. Acceptance does not make us passive. It allows us to respond from stillness, instead of reacting from fear. When we stop trying to control everything, everything slowly finds its right place. Imagine a mother who has lost her child. A grief so deep it steals the breath. If she tries to forget, the pain grows heavier. But if she sits still and looks deeply into her loss, she begins to see, even in her tears, there is light. She does not accept death as good, but she accepts that it is. And in that acceptance, a quiet miracle happens. Her pain transforms into gratitude. She does not forget her child, but she stops blaming life. And from there, she lives lighter, more tender, and begins to see that impermanence is what makes every moment precious. The world teaches us to be in control, manage time, manage emotions, manage people. But life is not meant to be managed, it is meant to be lived. One who knows how to let go does not lose direction. They move with the current while keeping the heart clear. Like a rower who does not fight the river, but tilts the oar with the flow. Such a person lives with less exhaustion and travels farther. Those who have not seen the way fear letting go because they think it means losing. But only what is false can be lost. What is true never leaves. You may lose a relationship, but if love was real, it still lives within your heart. You may lose a job, but if your skill is real, it will blossom elsewhere. You may lose reputation or image, but if your heart is clear, nothing can darken it. Letting go does not make you poor. It only takes away what was never truly yours. When you let go, you don't lose control. You return to the true rhythm of the universe. Everything in life comes and goes, like waves, like wind, like breath. You cannot hold the wind, but you can feel it pass through you. That is freedom, not the freedom of possession, but the freedom of not needing to possess. Acceptance is understanding that nothing needs to be different. Letting go is knowing that you don't need to be different either. When you release, life does not change, only the mind does. And in that change, everything suddenly becomes beautifully simple. No one invites suffering, yet it comes like an unannounced guest. We try everything to send it away: pleasure, work, philosophy, religion, sedatives, or the endless scrolling of screens. But the more we resist, the longer it stays. Suffering is not the enemy. It is a teacher in ragged clothes. If you dare to look closely, behind its rough face you'll find an open hand, offering a lesson that joy could never teach. Human beings grow through two gates, pleasure and pain. But only pain takes us inward. Joy opens us to the world. Suffering opens us to ourselves. When you are happy, you look outward. When you are in pain, you look within, and that is where the true journey begins. Suffering does not come to destroy you, it comes to strip away what is false. It reveals that everything you once clung to, status, love, reputation, beliefs, can vanish. And when all has fallen away, what remains? If you stop running and simply stay, you will see, in the deepest core of your pain lies something that cannot be wounded. That is your true self. Not the one who suffers, but the awareness witnessing the suffering. Our age teaches us to stay positive, to smile, to be strong, to move on. We laugh for the camera, but inside the heart feels hollow. No one dares to be sad anymore, fearing weakness, fearing being left behind. Yet only when you allow yourself to hurt deeply do you touch the hidden well of compassion. A person who has been betrayed, if they do not close their heart, learns to love with understanding. One who has lost learns to cherish what remains. Suffering does not destroy. It transforms, if we dare to stay with it, awake. Transformation does not happen when you try to get over the pain. It happens when you stay long enough to hear what the pain is trying to tell you. Don't ask, when will this end? Ask instead, what is this pain here to teach me? When the question changes, the energy shifts. Like fire, it burns away what is false, but that same fire forges steel. The awakened do not suffer less, they simply no longer fear suffering. For they have seen that every pain is a doorway into wisdom, if we have the courage to step through. A person who loses their job may lament, or may quietly ask, how long have I lived without truly living? Someone who loses a loved one may collapse, or may realize love is not possession, but the grace of letting go when the time comes. Every loss in life can become a lesson in awakening if we listen with the heart rather than the mind. Do not chase suffering away. Embrace it, like an old friend who has walked with you through the night. And one day, it will quietly dissolve, not because you forced it, but because its purpose is complete. It came to awaken you, and when you awaken, the pain disappears, not because it left, but because you are no longer the one who was wounded. No one awakens by escaping pain, but by walking through it with open eyes. At the heart of suffering lies peace. At the heart of loss lies love. When you see this, suffering is no longer the enemy, but a teacher, smiling quietly in the dark.